Alright guys, today we're talking about the 2026 Mustang Mach-E, and specifically the fact that Ford just officially killed the standard Frunk, that is the front trunk. Is this just a smart move to make the EVs more affordable, or is it just a clever way to charge us more for less? Let's break down the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the actual math behind the 2026 price tags. Let's do work. So why kill the Frunk? Let's talk about the good. First, let's look at why Ford is doing this. On paper, it makes a lot of sense for the manufacturer. Engineering simplicity. By removing the molded plastic tub, the drainage systems, the latching mechanisms, Ford simplifies the assembly line. It reduces cost by removing components. Potentially, thermal management. The empty space under the hood is prime real estate. Removing the Frunk gives engineers more room to package the heat pumps and cooling systems that keep the battery efficient in winter. I mean, they didn't say that, but that's theoretical. The data. Ford's brand manager recently stated that their data shows owners simply aren't using the Frunk as much as expected. To Ford, it was a dead feature that added cost and weight. But we'll get some opinions from some consumers that disagree with that at the end of this video. Let's talk about the math. Is it actually cheaper? Now, you might have heard that Ford is actually lowering the price by $1,000 because of this, and strictly speaking, that's true to a certain degree, but there's a massive asterisk attached there too. For 2026, the Mach-E GT base price dropped by about $1,100, and the premium trim is down by $1,400. The base select trim saw a tiny $200 cut. Here's the catch. The Frunk hasn't actually been deleted from existence. It's just been moved to the options list. If you want that drainable front trunk back, it's a $500 option. If you don't pay for it, Ford confirmed that the area is simply sealed off. There's no hidden storage. It's just a black hole under the hood that you can't access. So if you're a GT buyer and you want the Frunk back, your $1,100 savings is already down to about $600. And it gets worse. Ford also stripped away the power liftgate and 360 camera from the standard features list on certain trims, moving them to a $1,500 technology package. If you want the same car you could buy in 2025, the 2026 model might actually end up costing you more. Now, we had the premium trim on our 2021 Ford Mach-E, and I had all of those features. So now to see them move to a more expensive package, in addition to the tax credit going away, is a deal breaker for me. I would not buy this car if I'm going to be paying the same amount as I did before, with a substantial downgrade in technology. But let's move on. Let's talk about the bad, as if the previous section wasn't bad enough. For many people, the Frunk isn't just a gimmick. I'm going to be candid, I didn't really use the Frunk much, maybe on a couple of occasions. But some people do, as we're going to learn later in this section. The Mach-E's Frunk was famous for being drainable. It was a perfect spot for muddy charging cables, wet gym clothes, or ice and drinks for tailgating, for example. Now that mess has to go in your main cargo area. Loss of identity. The Frunk is a hallmark of the EV experience. Removing it makes the Mach-E feel a little more like a traditional gas car and a little less like a futuristic gadget on wheels. So some of the novelty gets taken away. The death by 1,000 cuts. It's not just the Frunk. Ford also removed the front seat back map pockets across all trims for 2026. You can't even pay to add those back in. It feels like decontenting, taking away the small conveniences that make the car feel premium. So is the 2026 Mach-E a better deal? If you're a minimalist buyer who never used the Frunk and doesn't care about a power liftgate, then yeah, I guess so. You just saved over $1,000 on the GT model, but again, only $200 on the regular model. Or did you? Because they removed some other stuff and they moved that technology to a technology package. So did you save any money? It's so confusing, and I think Ford designed it to be so. After all, they want to make more money by doing less work. Anyway, but for the rest of us, this feels like a strategic move to lower the advertised price while making us pay extra for the features we actually want and we're already getting. Ford is betting that you'll value a lower monthly payment over a place to store your charging cables, or store your maps in the back, or have your cameras and other features that used to be included in the base cost. Ford is betting that you'll value a lower monthly payment, or at least what appears to be a lower monthly payment, over a place to store your charging cables, or icy drinks, or groceries, or what have you. Is that a bet you're willing to take? Let's take a look at this article on Ford Authority on this matter. More specifically, we're going to go ahead and look at the comments below to see what the actual buyers of these cars are thinking. So Fire Mage says here, nice name, I keep my road kit and spare work parts kit in mine. Okay, so this person uses the Frunk. It says, I like mine. Jack Roberts, Maybe the frunk would be used often if you didn't have to crawl into the car and pull the stupid handle twice to get, yes, I concur. This guy, Ronald, says it's called decontenting, remove options and raise the car's price. Yes, which I feel is nefarious of Ford to be doing that, especially since I do believe that they are hiding the price advantage of this if there is one. Because frankly, they're removing some options like the frunk, like the backseat map pockets, and they're taking away technical options and putting them into a package that you have to pay extra for. So they're really masking if there's any benefit to this or not. Sam says, I think it's not very smart to remove this option as there are plenty of people who use it. Okay, so another person who thinks that they should keep it. How are they listening to their customers? I agree. I don't think Ford is listening to their customers. I liken this to when they removed the cooling seats option on the Mustang GT. I loved my cooling seats. I use them all the time. But Ford said, we're going to remove the option because no one's using them. Well, no, Ford, I was using them. So are they really listening to their customers? Sam has a point here. Jim, the hood is too long. That's legacy thinking from old-fashioned cars to have engines. The Bolt has no frunk. The Tilo truck has no frunk and nearly no hood. So I think here's one vote to take away the frunk and have no problem with it. Automotive, not so fast. My 5-year-old Mach-E GT Performance has been awesome. The frunk used frequently in summer at car cruises, outings for storing 3 food up lawn chairs, etc., etc. In winter, storing perishable groceries. Yeah, so this person agrees that they should keep the frunk. Cost saving is getting to be a deterrent to buy. Even back then, my MSRP fully optioned was almost $70,000. To my point earlier, that $7,500 tax credit is no longer there, so we don't have that benefit. John says, so they are deleting it and making it an option because not many were using it. That implies that if you don't need it, you can save money. I am pretty certain that Ford is not going to reduce the base price by some amount to cover that reduction, so it means we pay the same, probably more, and yet again, get less for more. It's the Ford way. Also, as Jim posted, without the frunk, what is going to be there? It's just a big piece of black plastic. Find another place to let me check the washer fluid, and then you can do away with the whole hood. Okay, so this person looks like they could go either way. The Mustang Mach-E really loses its standard rear spoiler. I guess nobody was using it. Good point. And finally, let's see what Andrew says here. I wonder how they are measuring use. I am using the frunk in my MME every day. It's full of stuff that I want to have in the car but don't need to access that often, like a first aid kit. I don't open it all that often because of how I use it. So that's a good point. He's actually using it every day. He's just not opening it every day. It's there for emergency. So I think that we can see here that most of these people are in favor of keeping the frunk and not charging extra for it. So ultimately, I think this is a bad move from Ford because people are using the frunk. I don't know how much money they're saving by getting rid of it. I mean, what, a couple bucks for the plastic piece, etc.? I don't know. And they're really not being transparent on the pricing and on how it saves you money. So they're lowering the price on some base models, right? But they're making things options, such as the cameras and things like that, costing $1,500. So I don't really see any benefit at all. If they're removing the frunk and the rear map holders and then only lowering the base model trim by $200, what's the savings there? So I think unfortunately it's just more corporate greed, trying to take away things that we've had standard for years and charge more for them, such as what car manufacturers have been doing with navigation systems. And really, it's quite a pathetic practice. I will not buy a car from anyone who does such things. All right, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Is Ford just being a cheap, greedy corporation? Does the frunk really matter to you? Do you like the idea that it's an option? Are you confused about whether or not it's a cost savings for you? Drop your comments below. And always remember the motto, bark less, wag more, and always be kinder than necessary. I'll see you in the next one.